And we're rolling.
What's up, my jelly dudes? We got another guest star here. His name is Christian. Say hi.
Hello.
We call him Paco.
So yeah, if you hear him refer to us as Paco, which we probably will throughout this thing, that's who we're talking to
That's just his nickname in the friend group.
in the sphere. Did it come from us or did it come from one of your football coaches? Because I can't remember.
Okay, initially in 7th grade, I was like running back, and they called me Taco. And then I brought that back home, and you called me Paco, and it just kind of stuck forever.
He's our favorite little Puerto Rican man.
We like him. He's funny. Okay. So with that 40-second tangent out of the way, from the title of the podcast, you can probably tell that we're going to be talking about some things that may or may not be true, things that have been formulated in the mind of insane people. More than likely, there might be a couple of things in the list that I have. This is like the first thing that came up on Google.
I always really like whenever one person has the list, and so like you are the only person who knows what's about to happen, and we have to just like prepare ourselves.
Yeah, it's really good.
It was the other way around last time with the cryptids one. I was the one with the list, and you all had to react to it.
All right, so the first theory there's like 30 theories in here. I'm gonna skip over any that are like too whatever, but the first theory might be the number one most debated conspiracy of all time. The moon landing was fake.
All
Oh
right.
my god. All right.
Flag moving in the wind, no stars in the sky whatsoever, misaligned shadows. These are all points made in the conspiracy theory that Neil Armstrong didn't take the first leap for mankind in 1969. For years, conspiracists have argued that NASA staged the landing, and that the secret has been protected by the CIA ever since. And that's all the information on it.
Is this... What about the, like, further moon landings? Because there, afterwards, they had, like, I think they had, like, 7 or 8 missions where they sent people to the moon.
Yeah, do they believe that it was just the first one that didn't happen?
I
Or do
don't
they
know.
think that it just never
I don't
happened?
know.
Because I feel like if you're saying that the first one didn't happen, then it leaves in the air as to whether the second one did happen.
Yeah, because if the second one was a legitimate moon landing, then everybody would be losing their minds, right?
There's also my cousin, he first of all, he's a grown man. He's like I think he has like 4 kids. He is a staunch believer in conspiracy theories. And he was just like he was talking about the moon landing, and he was like, if you show me the flag on the with a telescope, and I'll believe you. And what I didn't want to tell him is the flag would be bleached white by the sun, and if you don't know what the moon looks like, somehow it's a very gray surface. So it would be a very hard time to pick out a very small flag in this gray lunar surface.
You can see the moon in the same way that the pictures from the moon to the Earth are. Like, you don't
exactly.
see the individual things on it. You just see
the
a
chunk.
brief outline of, like, water,
So
land.
my favorite argument for it is that faking the moon landing in 1969 would have been harder than actually landing on the moon because of the CGI. So I just Googled CGI in 1969. Half of these images are moon landing article images.
What? I know that one of the like branches of this conspiracy theory are that Stanley Kubrick. They had Stanley Kubrick, director of The Shining, 2001: A Space Odyssey, a lot of other films. They had
Kubrick's
him
stare.
do it.
Yeah. They had the moon stare.
Neil Armstrong looks at the camera.
It zooms in on
It
him.
zooms in on him.
See, there was no Kubrick stare, so I guarantee that he was not the director of the moon landing.
If he directed the moon landing, not only would it be a lot more dramatic, it would probably also be a lot more interesting.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because if you've seen the footage of the moon landing, it's just him putting down the flag. He's like, one step from man, blah blah blah.
See,
And then they jump around for a little bit.
Buzz Aldrin would have been the murderer.
I like
Yeah,
watching
Buzz
In the Kubrick version, he would have
It would
ran
have
up
been
and
the
just like,
inspiration for Among Us.
Shut the hell up, both of you.
It would have been
Dude,
real
Buzz would be
Among Us.
mighty sus.
Dude,
Oh.
Buzz
Bunch of
sus.
fucking idiots.
You imagine
Well,
how
I should just
interesting
play-
that would be, though? Like, if one of them was, like, a communist spy,
Oh
and
my
he killed
God.
the other one on the moon.
And then he planted like a Soviet flag
Oh,
on
yeah,
that
How
moon.
would think about that?
No. We're talking about conspiracy. We are not making
No, I'm not.
conspiracy.
I'm saying this would be a good movie. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy.
That would be
I
kind
should
of a
just
cool
play
movie.
devil's advocate to every single one of these. Like, just try to find a way to believe this garbage.
All right, that would be a fun role to occupy.
Yeah, there's no wind on the moon. How was it flowing? Trust me, I of all people know what flags do in space.
I have seen.
I've been there.
I've been there.
So,
And
I've
obviously
been in
Neil
this
has not.
cosmos. I have been in this cosmos since its fucking dawn. You will not tell me how a flag flows.
Look at how bunch of idiots. Okay. I skipped a couple because these are very sensitive topics. But
Oh no,
dude, what?
the next one that seems appropriate is Earth has been sucked into a black hole.
Wow, we did a fucking leap and a jump there.
The European Organization for Nuclear Research, or CERN, is at the heart of a lot of crazy conspiracy theories, including the belief that when CERN discovered the Higgs boson, aka the God particle, in 2012, it inadvertently created a black hole that Earth was sucked into.
Oh, that's with the Large Hadron Collider.
These believers think that the world ended in 2012, but we haven't realized it yet.
What does that even mean?
10 years ago. We've just been in purgatory ever since.
Well, okay, I think that their main idea, because I've heard this before. We talked about it in science class. We have quite the science teacher. I think that what they're saying is that the galaxy that we are in, we still see as existing, but it just doesn't. Like, we are
That doesn't
pulled
make
into a
sense.
black
We
hole.
are
No,
all
we are pulled into a black hole.
Concurrently in a state of non-existence.
Yeah, we are all together banished, and everything that we knew was banished. So I think their idea is like, I guess if everything disappears, then who can tell you that it didn't?
That's like the tree falls.
Huh?
It's hard to
Tree
be devil's
falls
advocate
argument.
to one that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If a tree falls in a forest, does it make a sound? Yes, it does.
Yeah, but if everyone disappears at the same time, does anyone know that you
Well,
disappeared?
I guess
can't disprove it because you weren't there.
I guess the tree falls in the forest debate, you would have to add a bunch of extra stipulations to really pose the question. Like if there's no one around to hear it, not only does there have to be no one, there has
Well,
to be nothing around
There
to
has to
hear
be
it.
nothing around.
There has
it,
to be nothing that can perceive sound or sight.
Well, there has to be. If the tree falls and like the world not existing anymore, that would have to be like just
Or
any.
like even for like whenever the tree falls, that causes vibrations that you would feel it in the earth.
That would have to be. It would have to be just like any other fact, which is just a cognition that everybody shares. But of course, fact is a very loose term in 2022.
Well, there is
I think it's always a very loose term.
there is no general idea of what happens when things disappear. Like when you die, no one knows what happens. So I think
Your heart stops and your
Oh no,
brain stops.
yeah, he was talking about your cognition.
no, what happened? Like there's a huge debate. Like you can't deny that there is one because there are churches everywhere. But like the idea that you don't know what happens when things disappear. So if everything disappears and no one's there to say that it disappeared, do those like I guess they just assume that those things just exist in
I
a
think
separate area, like
I-
they exist somewhere else. Like we just continue existing.
But
in
not
this
not
dead,
what we are
dormant
supposed
area.
to be.
That's really weird to think about.
It is really weird to think about. I also don't.
I don't
I
entirely
don't-
believe it.
I don't know the credibility of that argument, but it is an interesting thought.
I suppose so. This next
Unlike
one.
the moon landing being fake. Which
It's easier to support
This
one.
next one I really really like.
all right,
Ooh.
Disney
is it the person head
Disney created the movie Frozen as a distraction.
as a distraction?
People have long discussed the conspiracy that Walt Disney used cryogenics technology to freeze himself when he died, even though the Disney family refutes the claims. However, a new theory is that the Walt Disney Company created Frozen as a... There's no fucking way. Created Frozen as a way to hack Google's search algorithm and distract consumers from information about the
Oh.
late Walt Disney's possible Frozen procedure.
Oh,
So
I
just
think
the
I've heard this one
keyword, just the
before.
keyword Frozen.
I don't think that is the entire reason that they made that. I think that I think
I don't think it's part of it at all.
I think that it's like a happy accident.
You'd be hard pressed, I think, to find anyone who doesn't write these themselves that is still looking up if Walt Disney froze himself. No one cares. If you look, I guarantee if you look up how many people searched that on a monthly basis.
It
there's
is
no
a very
point
small
distracting.
niche amount of people.
Cryogenically freezing yourself is a very popular thing.
I think that this is a coincidence does not equal correlation type thing.
Definitely.
Whereas like this happened, sure, but I don't think that means that there was a connection.
You have to think about the situation rationally. Like cryogenically freezing yourself, like Futurama's the one example that comes to mind instantly. To cryogenically freeze yourself, you have to freeze yourself, which means your particles stop moving the way that they should. So you're dead either way. You're gonna die if you cryogenically freeze yourself.
You can thaw back out, but you're just the parts of your body that are supposed to move don't. Like,
Yeah.
if your heart just stops, very unlikely that they're just gonna make that shit go again.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're gonna be like, oh,
Especially for as long as
I like how this is like a conspiracy theory about another conspiracy theory.
because like, well,
when did
and
Walt Disney
also-
die?
I think in the 80s,
I
no,
don't think
70s.
I don't think they'd spend as much time making it as as poised of a movie. It's like it's a very popular,
Yeah, it's-
very
it's
well
put together.
crafted movie. So I doubt they'd put all that into it just for it
You
to
would
distract
think-
you from
you would
something
think-
that happened decades
I do
ago.
think it was just a happy accident, like just
Yeah.
the keyword "frozen"
Yeah.
to throw people off the track of Walt Disney froze himself. By the way, he died in '66.
66.
It's been a bit.
Yeah.
It's been almost 80 years.
It's been a bit.
60 years. It's been almost 60
He-
years.
One thing I've seen, so I have this weird, like, obsession with the Disneyland parks. I think that they are very interesting.
They're
Like,
very
with, like-
intricately designed to make you purchase things and
Yes.
stay.
I think that's really neat, and so I watch a lot of videos about them, and so by happenstance, I have a lot of knowledge about the people who have owned Disney and what they have done with the Disneyland parks and with the company as a whole.
Yeah.
It's an amusement park.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you guys thinking too much about? Well, no, it's Disney. They're always up to something
I'm saying,
malicious.
when you walk around it, they have things that pump smells to certain areas.
I
to get
have
you to
heard
do
of that.
things,
That's
and,
weird.
And so like those are just things that are meant to
And
keep
not
you.
to mention like all the underground like shafts and shit that they have just for the staff members.
It's just that's just meant to work.
So
Yeah, it's
so
meant to work the park.
you're not
without
supposed
being...
to see people in their mascot costumes outside of their designated areas.
Of course.
So they have like a system of tunnels underneath that they use to get around.
The whole point of the way that they explain it, the whole point of that is to break your immersion from like normal world and enter you into like Disney. So they don't want you to see
Yeah,
like they
enter
don't want
me
you...
into Disney with other fat slobs eating a $30
turkey
corn
leg.
dog.
Yeah,
Turkey
but those
leg.
are also a bunch of losers that are in Disney now.
Yeah, exactly. So you're
And children.
all in the same boat.
Fuck
I want to hang off children and see no people dressed up as dogs unless they're where the dogs are supposed to be.
I know, I think another part of my obsession with the Disney parks has definitely to do with the old creepypasta Abandoned by Disney.
Yeah.
Just because the idea of the perversion of such a outwardly wholesome company with a seedy past, that's so interesting to me.
I like how quick everything is to try to make Disney, who's like a bunch of children's whole childhood worth of stories and movies, and turn it into this evil plot with this like Hitler mastermind of an owner.
When you
Walt Disney.
when you turn this corner, you're gonna smell pretzels, and you're gonna want to buy pretzels.
But Disney had
It's like telling me Milt Hershey's like planning this for years. Like he puts
It's the
chips in his
uprising.
chocolate bars. And, like
but Disney had you're talking about like idealized architecture and stuff. His like what he wanted to do the most with the Disney parks, his like magnum opus was Epcot. And they changed it a lot to where it is now, where it's now just like a bunch of different themed attractions where it's like different countries and stuff. But his original idea for it was it would be a functioning miniature city within the park that people could just observe. And it would be like
Like a fucking zoo exhibit?
almost the people there would still be able to like leave whenever they wanted or stuff, but he wanted like the creative people to live there, and they would just like have their own like little self-sustaining like cohabitation.
That's
And
really
something about that feels really interesting and really cool, and then another part of that feels really like gross and fascist.
yeah, that sounds like morally gray, but like towards black, like morally dark gray.
But I really like the idea of him creating like what he would try and the idea behind it was that he would try and make the most efficient human living that he could. But I think that he got a little bit too swept up in the idea and made it like really creepy and gross.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Everything about Disney is just a little weird.
Yeah, it's like
There's something
yeah, you feel it. You
they're
feel
too
it
wealthy,
for sure.
and they're too like secretive, and they plan too far ahead for me to be comfortable with like just
What they're
expecting
doing.
good things.
Yeah.
Of them, you know.
Yeah, Disney, especially with like the Marvel movies now, it doesn't feel like they make them just to make them.
Oh my god, yes.
Like they plan
That is-
so many
That
years
is
ahead.
that's such a major criticism that I've had in the past like 5. They felt like commercials almost. They haven't felt like stuff with heart put into
It's
them.
no longer
They made them
like
because they have
I-
to
I
make
can-
them because
I
they
can-
own them.
I can think of like 3, like maybe 2 of the past Marvel movies since Endgame that have felt like they have had effort put into them.
what's the last movie that Disney put out that is like its own contained story, not like Thor Ragnarok for the most part until the end when Thanos' ship comes up, but like everything feels like it's trying to lean on like continue some story and then set up for another one at the end. It's just I want more standalone movies like Deadpool or Deadpool 2. Those are awesome.
The only there's a handful of Marvel movies since Endgame that I can think of that were like that felt like people made them because they wanted to. Far From Home, No Way Home, the Spider-Man movies have been solid. Eternals, it wasn't a great movie, but it felt like the person who made it had a vision creatively and they knew what they wanted to get done. And it felt like they really cared about the characters that they were writing.
I still haven't watched the Eternals.
It's fine, you don't need to. Alright, hold on. Sorry, Miranda's texting me. But like Doctor Strange and stuff, and even to an extent, Love and Thunder. I don't know. Love and Thunder felt like he did care about what he was making, but they were like, "All right, you just got to do it fast."
Yeah.
And so, because Love and Thunder feels like it has a lot of ideas and not enough time to fully explore them. And I feel like if they just took they added an extra half hour, maybe 45 minutes to the runtime, you would have enough time to fully fledge out the ideas that you are starting and be able to run with them a little bit
Love
more.
and Thunder was a fine movie, but
It had the potential to be really good.
I like the way that it started. Like Thor kind of isolated himself, and like he only came away from his meditation when people needed him to fight. And then the end of the movie, I'm not gonna say anything just in case nobody's seen it. They set up 2 storylines, and I feel like that's already one too many. I don't think you should be setting up any storylines at the end of any movie.
A lot of times, I don't know. I felt like I really wanted. So, spoiler alert: the post-credit scene has the reveal of Hercules in the MCU, which is something I was thinking that I really wanted. But whenever it happened, I just kind of felt like sleazed out and kind of gross.
Yeah.
Because it's just like the post-credits scene is supposed to be a fun wink and a nod to what's coming up next.
No, but they use it to set
But
up
it's
another
like,
movie.
hey, my son Hercules, go fight Thor. And I was really hoping that they would introduce Hercules naturally throughout the course of the movie, or like Beta Ray Bill or someone else to be a foil to Thor.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just left me feeling a little gross. But the rest of I enjoyed Love and Thunder, and like I said, there are a lot of moments where the movie really shines. I heard a lot of criticisms about the film, like it was over comedic, And I thought sometimes, but not
I think
a lot of the time. It did know when to slow down and take itself seriously.
I think the one joke that I thought was really out of place was when Thor was being restrained by Gore and he said, "Call the axe." And Thor's like, "When you call a dentist." And I'm like, dude, come on, really?
Yeah, it's like
now?
that felt out of place. But a lot of the humor in that actually felt well timed.
There's a lot of good humor in the Thor movies.
Especially since Ragnarok. I don't know. I feel like a lot of Ragnarok is a lot of it felt like weird. But I guess that's just because it's such a tone shift from what the Thor movies were. But look at her, she's sitting though. Sorry, I just looked at my cat. She's taking a little sit.
And Disney really took a turn there. We were talking
Yeah.
about freezing himself.
No, this is conversation.
It is conversation. This is what the podcast
Alright.
is about. It's about
I
talking.
am going to do some favors for Miranda real quick,
Okay.
and then you guys can keep going.
Yeah, Paco and I will make it quick.
We'll carry it together.
I'll try my best.
Paco and I will talk about Hollow Earth theory.
Oh boy.
Goodness.
In 2014, scientists released new unknown findings about the Earth's core. Let's just say conspiracy theorists took it and ran with it. After learning that we didn't know much at all about the surface of the Earth or what lies beneath its layers, the Hollow Earth theory gained traction. Some believers even think that there is an Earth inside of the Earth.
Earth inside of the Earth.
I don't know if you guys could hear it, but Rusty giggled from the other room.
He had a distant giggle. Okay. First part of that it's hollow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think
Imagine something hollow in a vacuum. Doesn't sound like that would work.
it doesn't, because something hollow wouldn't have very much gravity,
And when it was
therefore-
being pulled, it would crumble.
and therefore not much force to even hold it together. So it would either crumble or it would disperse.
Yeah, it would just explode. Oh, I mean, and also the idea that there's an Earth inside, there would be nothing in there, because that would also require
But so there is one part of Hollow Earth theory that says Earth is like the surrounding encasement of like the universe, and all of that is inside of the Hollow Earth is the universe.
What?
It's dumb. It's weird.
that is absolutely
Well, now
garbage.
hang on a second. My question is, if there's an Earth inside of the Earth, is there an Earth inside that Earth?
Well, if you think about Earth being inside of Earth, we're moving. Earth is always moving. We're rotating,
Mhm.
and also, but it would be similar to a brain if the way I'm thinking about it. There's the skull,
Mhm.
like the cranium, and then inside of it is another little thing. Do they assume that there's like a liquid in between what is hollow in the Earth and what is inside of it, like the other Earth?
My
Or is it
question
just
is,
banging against the sides?
my
of the
question
inside?
is, if there's an Earth inside the Earth, is there also a sun and moon inside the Earth?
Is there anything living on the Earth inside the Earth? It sounds like it'd be hard to live in.
Because if there's just an Earth inside the Earth, you're going to be encased in blackness forever,
It's
you
just
know?
dirt and it's dark, and the most you might get is like for some sediment to fall. And also, unless you're encased by a liquid or you're highly pressurized on each side, every time that we make any rotation, it's banging against the sides.
Yeah.
Almost like a
Like
a
a-
coin in those little things you drop in the donation
Well, I
box.
was going to say like
They're
a
just-
ball in like a roulette wheel.
Yeah, it's just getting spun around
Mhm.
forever.
Yeah.
It probably sucks in there.
Well, not even to mention, like, you would have to assume. So let's say just for the hell of it, let's say that like the crust of the Earth is like a mile deep, like uniformly like a mile deep.
Okay.
How would you deal with like ocean trenches? Because God
It would
knows
just leak into the
God knows
bottom
how
Earth.
deep the ocean is. So how much room would an Earth inside Earth really have?
Well, basically, if the Earth's crust is universally 1 mile deep, the trench at the deepest is only going a mile. So I'd assume that if that's like the bottom, it's like a flat world in Minecraft where it's always like 4 blocks down.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like that. You can only go so far before you plummet into the second Earth, and you just like fall into a pit of darkness, and they cover you up like no one can know. I think that's the only way that could work.
One of my favorite, it doesn't make any fucking sense for the real world, but like in fantasy settings when there's like a hollow Earth and there's like an entire underground society that you've never known
Just
about.
mole people.
Well, mole people.
Yeah, but a legitimate a legitimate group of people, like
Yeah,
an actual society. Down.
that's a really good fantastical idea, but like,
But whenever we spin too fast and we crumble in on ourselves and we demolish that insider.
yeah,
But you know the idea of a galaxy being inside the hollow Earth. Galaxies
not a
are
galaxy,
infinite.
the universe.
Oh, sorry. The universe. That is infinite mass.
Yes.
So that whole worry about not enough mass inside of it, that's gone. It's too much mass. So there's a black hole inside of this hollow Earth.
if there's
And we're swallowing ourselves.
if there's a universe inside of the Earth, there's a lot of mass in the. You don't have to be a scientist. There's a lot of mass in the universe.
Well, if the universe is infinite, then it's infinite mass.
Infinite's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So if all that was condensed into the Earth, it should just be like the center of a black hole.
Yeah, we're gonna explode. It's just like a black hole is growing and eating inside of the Earth
Yeah.
until it gets to our outer crust and we explode.
I don't know. Maybe we just don't have enough scientific knowledge. We got to get Neil deGrasse Tyson on here.
Oh, I'm sure he'd be like, "Oh yeah, yep, there's a galaxy inside of us. We're gonna
Yep.
explode."
It's coming.
Yeah, the moon landing, we actually drilled down to the moon. It was just in there.
We drove
There's
into
nothing actually outside.
into the tiny hollow Earth moon.
See, we're actually in like a big terrarium box, and the sun is just a UV light that a human
A
kinda
human is
glides
manually
around the top
moving.
just to mess with us.
Oh.
A big goofy human named like God or whatever. And he's just like moving stuff around in front of me. He's waving the sun at us like Big Sun is trying to sell us on their product.
Well, now hang on. So you're saying that they move the lamp? Are you saying that the sun revolves around the Earth?
Absolutely. That is my core belief that everything's inside of us. The only things outside of the Earth are the moon and sun, which is just some dude having like a UV light and then like a non-heating lamp that also crosses. And you know, sometimes he accidentally bunches them together and we get an eclipse. That's what it really is.
I really like this.
Humans just
We drilled down to the tiny moon.
we drilled down to the actual tiny moon where it was easier to access, and there's still wind because
Well,
it's
then-
inside the Earth.
Is it like an onion? All right, so Rusty, we got to catch you up.
Okay, so the Earth is inside of the Earth is a galaxy, which is the universe. So there's infinite mass, so it won't crumble on itself. But also, we are in a terrarium, and there is no stars and other galaxies outside of us. That's all inside. The only things outside are the sun and moon, which are a heat lamp and just a normal UV lamp. And some dude's just waving them around on top of us and fooling us. And whenever we went to the moon, we drilled down to the moon. We just drilled into the Earth.
The
we
Earth
landed
inside
on
the Earth.
And we were like, yes, we've made it. And we stamped in, and stupid Russia was up there trying to fly into the UV lamps.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Yeah,
don't
Russia
exist.
got it. Russia had it all wrong.
Yeah, they were trying to fly up to that goofy man waving the lamps around. We
So
were
I
going
guess-
down.
In that way, it does validate the moon landing being faked.
No, it was real. We went down.
Yeah, but
It was just
yeah,
easy.
exactly. It's not the real moon.
No,
it's the inner
Paco,
moon.
Paco and I had a lot of fun with this.
All
You
right.
gave me too much spotlight. You
Oh
let
my
me actually speak.
Okay, all right, guys. This is the moment that I've been waiting for.
Dear
Ooh.
God, global warming.
The Earth is flat.
Oh.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one.
The Flat Earth Society has spread across the globe in
I
recent
thought
years.
you were about to say the Flat Earth Society has spoken.
With more and more people believing that the world is flat and stationary
Spicy lady, what are you doing?
rather than a rotating orb as science would lead them to believe. So my favorite fucking thing about the flat earth theorists are that they conduct all of these tests in their backyard with like gyroscopes and really expensive scientific equipment, and they disprove themselves time and time and time
But they
again.
still believe it after
Yes.
they disprove themselves.
So if you
Yeah,
ask
it's like, oh, that was just a faulty measurement.
if you ask a flat earther what the other planets are like, they're like, no, well, no, they're spheres. They've been observed to be spheres. Like, what the fuck? Why is Earth a two-dimensional anomaly?
It could just be a circle on like a y-axis. You don't know. You could be looking up and be like, "Oh, dude, check
Oh,
it out.
I
It's a
really
circle."
like how
Or it's just
Dude.
the texture on the skybox.
like how
Yeah, dude,
3,000
that-
years ago
that same guy.
Pythagoras was like, all right, and he crunched the numbers, proved the Earth was round, and then people
No one
still-
cares.
Yeah, no one cares.
Some loser in his
people have
backyard's
known-
like, never mind.
People navigating ships and shit have known for thousands of years that the Earth is round, but
Like,
people don't give a
did
shit.
they just forget Columbus? Like, the whole thing was that he didn't, like, he was like, oh, I just go straight across. And then he realized, oh shit, it's round. I'm going the other way.
I
I
really
can't just cut through. There's a thing here. And then he went here and he's like, oh, India.
I really
The
like
whole thing.
how every major scientific discovery is not only met with criticism but totally denied until hundreds of years later.
And everyone's like, oh,
Another
dude.
thing that's really crazy to me too, calling the Native Americans Indians.
Yeah, they're
That
not
has been a
Indians.
thing for literally hundreds of
And
years.
we're taught that they're Indians. But, like, realistically, that's just some dumb European man not knowing where he is.
Yes.
He just sees, like,
That is
he just
crazy
sees
to think
olive,
about.
he sees olive-colored people, and he's like, oh,
For a long
I'm
time,
India.
for a long time, I did not know. Like, whenever I was a little kid, I did not know that Native American was like the correct term for them.
Yeah, I thought it was just,
Because
like,
whenever I was told that that term existed, I was like, that makes sense. All right,
yeah,
they're
the
not from
Native
India. This isn't India.
Yeah, this isn't India. Why would they be Indians?
One of the only real science project that I remember from my biology class was well, we didn't actually do the project, but we learned about it. Spontaneous generation, like maggots on meat. That test was done like 100 different times by a bunch of different people. It's like, no, you're wrong. Maggots grow on meat. They just appear on my meat.
They just appear on meat, dude.
Yeah,
That's what they do.
flies are here too, but I'm sure that they don't have anything.
I'm sure
to
they're
do with
unrelated.
anything.
See, when they sit on there for a really long time and gyrate, I think that's just them, like, hanging out, waiting for the maggots to arrive.
They
the
eat
fuck?
the raw meat, and then the raw meat makes the maggots. Duh.
My favorite question to ask to people about the flat Earth theory, I always ask, okay, so your idea is that it's flat, and I'm assuming two-dimensional.
Mhm.
First, like, what's on the bottom? And then if they, like, oftentimes, like, there isn't one. Then I'm like, so we're one-dimensional.
So
In
if there's no
universe-
if
in
there's
a
no bottom,
galaxy
there's just
full
no
of-
bottom texture.
In a galaxy full of spheres,
You
we
can see
are
right
at
through it from the
one
bottom.
planet that's one-dimensional. Like,
Mhm.
why the fuck?
That
If
doesn't
the
make
rest
any
of them are
sense.
spherical,
If
why
you
would
don't
we
believe,
be
if you
flat?
don't believe that the Earth is round, at the very least, every other cosmic body is round. So
Yeah.
just through at that point, through deductive reasoning, you could just be like, "Hey,
The Earth must
maybe
be
Earth is round."
Yeah.
Why would we be the only one?
If every other large fucking cosmic item is round, you might think.
No, but Earth is special. Earth is the only one that can support life.
But the thing is, most flat earthers are people that believe in aliens. So they're like, oh,
They're-
there must
they're
be a
knee deep in conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
If you're a
like-
flat earther, you are obviously a few tiers down into the
But
dirt.
the idea that you, like, obviously gravity, just general drag, the difference between a sphere and just a flat object.
Mhm.
All right, that's one big thing. And the idea that both of them can support life is hard to believe. Like, the massive differences that they can both just be like, yeah, I can live here. Yeah, sure.
You guys, I really wanna get to this next topic just because I'm already overthinking it.
Oh God.
Buckle your pants, your mental pants.
My brain pants.
Prince Charles is a vampire.
What?
All Europeans. are.
Not the Queen.
Well,
Prince Charles.
the Prince of Wales is related to Vlad the Impaler, the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Why does he say? Does he explain any further
Um,
that he is
Good old-
related to
good old
Vlad
Many-
the
Nosferatu.
Impaler?
many royals in Charles's bloodline were known to have the disease porphyria, which is an iron deficiency that causes people to be sensitive to sunlight. These are just like short one-off paragraphs. So Prince Charles is sensitive to sunlight, so therefore he's a vampire.
Yeah, simply, he's fair-skinned. He's a vampire.
That's how it works.
And he's iron deficient, which means he automatically has to drink blood.
Um,
I know iron deficient people that suck blood. All right.
Miranda sucks blood,
Yeah,
bro.
Lexi sucks blood. That's just what
Oh
they do.
God, why are people drinking blood?
This is funny.
Yeah,
it's
funny,
not.
dude. Sink your teeth in.
It's not.
Get a
That's how
little
you
gulp.
get. That's how you get AIDS.
There's a
You have to
bunch of ways
just
to get
don't
AIDS.
drink blood from someone who has AIDS.
Yeah, eat a monkey.
Oh, you're right. Just be
You're
really,
lucky.
just be really picky about it.
Yeah, I'm very picky about the blood.
Don't drink blood.
No, it's good.
The
I
next
need
theory.
It keeps me alive.
We're gonna skip over the next theory that Bigfoot is real.
But what? Wait.
Hold on. Why are you skipping over that?
He's right
Because
here.
we covered Bigfoot
Have you not
3
seen the
times
image?
last time.
Have you
Yeah,
not
but
seen the
we
image?
didn't mention any part about him being real or not. We
Oh.
just mentioned that there are copycats.
Oh, okay.
I
Do you
want-
wanna briefly cover Bigfoot?
But
Sure.
wait. Describe Bigfoot. All right. Just off the top
Are
of
we
your
saying
top
Bigfoot
of your
as
head.
as one entity or Bigfoot as a species?
Bigfoot, Sasquatch, call it what you will, but many people are convinced that the elusive creature exists. For years,
the elusive creature.
people
so
have
one.
tried
So
to
this is
track it
one.
down. Yes,
So
so
this is-
I don't know if there's just one.
Okay, the
there
way
can't be.
I do enjoy the idea that there is one big furry man who is like,
Eternal.
well, it's like a spiritual being. Like he can be
Yeah.
anywhere because there's not a tribe of them. There's not
Yeah.
a family of them. It's one, and he's everywhere. And I think it's funny. I mean,
If
I
you
obviously don't
in him
believe
enough, he
that, but
manifests.
I
Yeah,
obviously
that's-
don't believe
as
it.
an
It's
idea,
true.
that's interesting.
That's a funny idea that people are like, yeah, that makes sense. This big hairy dude, he just is everywhere.
I feel like it's definitely possible that, like, if it was a species, like a small, isolated group of them could be somewhere where maybe humanity hasn't made much contact, and every once in a while, one of them strays out. Like, if you could convince me, that there is like troops of these, like very small groups, up in like the northern Canadian wilderness where no one fucking lives.
Well, those are Yetis. Those are different.
Well, you know, I actually do have a conspiracy theory about this conspiracy theory.
What's that?
All right. So, the basis of Bigfoot, or just, you know, Sasquatch in general, they're very tall, muscular, hairy, they grunt a lot, they got big old hands, big old feet, they live in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's not completely out of reason. You know, if I described a Neanderthal to you,
Uh-huh.
they got big heads, they're very hairy, big old feet, big old hands, live in the woods. I wouldn't be shocked because there's a certain period of time where Homo erectus and Neanderthals lived together, like just a normal base European human. I wouldn't be shocked if whenever they, yeah, that's the base one.
The base
But
model.
whenever they moved over, and there was like some European kid in the woods, and he sees this big, hairy hunk of a man.
So you think it's like the opposite of like, well, not the opposite, but like, how people and dolphins just took very different evolutionary paths. How dolphins are like super intelligent.
I think the way that it is like, would it shock you if some kid was like, Mom, I saw this guy and he was 10 feet tall,
Yeah.
he's covered in hair.
Yeah.
That's not shocking. That's a kid thing to say.
That way,
And then that passes around, hey, there's this big, giant, hairy man. And then they went extinct.
It's actually like
They all died. So now we're like, we can't find them. And people think they see them, they find like bones. But they're just Neanderthal
it's actually like a
bones.
really good explanation,
So
like a
that's
really
what-
well thought out
like,
explanation.
that's what I've
of
always
it.
thought.
Offshoot of
I think
the
kid-
modern human.
That like
I think-
isolated troops of Neanderthals existed well into like the developing of the written language,
Like, I don't think they're
and then
still
they
here.
slowly died out, and
Yeah.
now they're completely gone, and people just couldn't wrap their minds around it all the
It
way.
was spread around by like
Because
folklore.
if
It's
they
still
would have
here. The
already
Minerva
been like
monster.
a mythical creature,
The Minerva monster's a thing. Like, it's still spreading.
and then as
There's-
time goes out, it becomes exaggerated to the point of being Bigfoot.
yeah,
That's
now it's like,
really interesting.
that's what I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, it's just like to a light-skinned, very like European human. Seeing what the Neanderthals were like described as and look like from their skeleton, like that would be very jarring. They're way
Yeah.
bigger. They're stronger. They don't really speak a very organized language. They grunt, and so I think that they just passed it down generationally until they died, and then people were just left with this idea.
I really like that.
And they
It's really
find
cool.
you can find big old footprints that were left
Mhm.
from Neanderthal, like, you know, like fossilized footprint. And they're like, see Bigfoot. I'm like, no, that's just a huge foot, and that's what they had. They were barely walking on two legs by that point. They were just flopping around.
Is there enough substance in "We Are All Living in the Matrix"?
I don't think I can
It's
create
a-
much for that.
No, that's a write-off. That's like that's an anti-argument.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
It-
kind
that's
of dumb.
Yeah, that's like a dream theory thing.
Okay, riddle me this, fuckers. The moon isn't real.
The what?
No, dude,
Is it like the bat signal?
I just had like a 10-minute rant on this. It's not.
I really like.
It's a UV light.
There's a man up there waving his UV light at
I
it.
like Rusty's reaction to what the huh.
the hawk.
Some people don't think some people think the moon doesn't exist. This conspiracy theory has gained particular.
What is that thing in the sky then?
This conspiracy theory has
What?
gained.
Riddle me this, fucker.
No, the moon, the fire on the moon goes out every night.
You guys know this ties in. This ties in. This conspiracy theory has gained particular traction with flat earthers,
No.
and they
No.
think the moon is simply a projection.
It is the
Yeah.
bat signal. It's like what I just fucking joked about.
You know that funny reflective thing that we have?
And it goes
Oh,
through phases. They
like-
just want you to believe it,
What reflective surface do they think that this is coming off of?
right? If
Like,
the
I
earth if
agree.
the earth is flat, then what is the cosmos?
I agree that anything
if-
past us would have a shadow of the Earth cast.
Well, no,
onto
you
it.
also certain flat people who have just gotten into flat earthing, you as if it's a trend. Well, it was for a while.
Get into it, yeah.
You gotta believe like they believe the Earth is flat,
There are certain other sharks you have to jump to get there.
but they also believe that other planets are spherical. Do like
I
fresh
think that
flat
there are
earthers
probably different
different tribes,
thoughts. Yeah, different
Yeah.
thought groups.
like different extents.
Like these are the flat earthers who believe there is only the earth and it is flat, and then there are the people who believe that there is only there are people who believe that only the earth is flat, and there are other celestial bodies that are still round, and then there are the people who believe that the other celestial bodies are flat. We're just seeing them at a weird angle. It's like religion. It's like there's just different splintering groups.
Yeah.
And eventually you're just like, what is this? What have we become?
One of them has to be right. Except
None of them are.
except no flat earthers
Except
are
their,
right.
except their
Except it's
basal
not.
ideas are the fucking. They are nonsense.
I wish we could look up what happens if you put a paper plate in a vacuum. And you see what happens. See what
It
does.
depends.
The structural integrity of that paper plate. We are a bundle of, like, you've seen the rocks outside. If this is flat, we're
So
fucked, 'cause
I've
this rock
seen
sucks.
I've seen videos of like the reason that a feather floats down slower than a bowling
Because
ball
of resistance.
because it's air resistance. So if
Yeah.
you put I saw a video of the two being put in the closest thing that humans can create to a total vacuum. They fell at about the same at just about the same rate, and the feather still looked like a normal, like you could identify it as a feather. So I don't think anything would happen to the paper plate.
Then,
But
it's
what if
true.
you put the Earth in a vacuum? What if you,
Yeah.
All the liquids
if-
would evaporate. Everything would die.
it essentially is in a vacuum.
It's just in
You see the
in a
way
non-vacuum. in a
exactly.
vacuum.
You see the way it works is there
Until
are
you release-
dense levels of particles that keep it from being a vacuum here.
Yeah.
But then it slowly thins out as
We're
you go up.
slowly fucking that up.
Isn't that great?
We're getting rid of that
It's cool.
barrier.
It's awesome.
Isn't that
in
cool?
my-
So then we can
in
just
my
get
industry-
fried by ultraviolet radiation.
My industry is a big part in that. Just
Um,
releasing chlorine into
Well,
this guy.
thank God you don't work at an oil plant.
This is
You would be like the leading cause then.
this is
Yeah,
a really
absolutely.
interesting one.
All right.
The Titanic didn't actually sink.
Well, you see,
What is that
they
shipwreck? in the
no,
Arctic?
dude, they changed the name, dude. They changed the name and they just kept going.
This tragic accident has been a
Oh,
topic of
it's
many
just their
conspiracy
boat.
theories, including that it was another one of the company's ocean liners,
That's
the
what I'm saying.
Olympic.
It was just they
um,
changed it to the Olympic and they kept sailing.
That is something. That makes sense, I guess.
And then they remind you of the
Except for the fact-
1,500 people that died.
Yeah, in case
Including Leonardo DiCaprio.
Tragic.
rest in peace, my guy. There was so much room on that door.
Yeah, but Rose was like, I fucked you.
Stop-
I can't let my family know.
It truly is
You're,
amazing.
you're like a third-class citizen. Just
It is amazing that the entire camera crew made it back alive and safe.
Yeah, they.
ripperoni, and they filmed it in color. Steven Spielberg was directing it.
Phenomenal.
Steven Spielberg caused the Titanic, everyone.
Yeah, he also directed
He-
the moon landing.
Retroactively.
Yeah.
This one I don't have a lot of knowledge about.
What's that?
Apollo 17 wasn't the last moon landing.
Oh, that's-
Wasn't the last moon mission.
Because they have that movie Apollo 18 where they go to the moon and there's a bunch of rock monsters.
Are you
That's
serious?
what actually happened. Yeah.
Yes, that's a movie.
That sounds terrible.
It's so bad.
What do you mean?
They're like a bunch of little like scorpions made out of rocks and shit. It's really
Oh, yeah.
dumb.
Apollo
actually
And somehow the ones I think it's like they go to the dark side of the moon in 18 or something like that.
They're
And so that's the explanation as to why none of the other astronauts ran into
See,
him.
with the creation, with the popularity of social media, they're having trouble explaining why they're going down to them.
You guys.
People are more critical now.
NASA
like-
claimed.
Why are they drilling to the moon, huh? Why not a rocket?
Why are you guys drilling?
NASA claimed that they had logged all the research they needed and government funding was reduced. But a movie came out about a fictional Apollo 18, and now some believe the mission was real and ended tragically when the astronauts had a run-in with aliens.
Yes, I just described to you the plot, and I guess that's the entire basis of this
All right.
conspiracy theory.
So we can write this one off as absolute fucking garbage.
Yeah, this is horseshit.
It's like if I watched SpongeBob and I'm like, that's what actually happened to Bikini Atoll. That's why they didn't do it anymore.
I
You
think-
scared about the talking
I think you
fish.
guys are gonna. I personally like this one.
You want to know? You want to know why the space program ended?
why?
Reaganomics.
I don't know what that is.
Don't worry about it. You'll learn about it when you're older.
I'm too young.
Brain spread.
This one, I have a lot of interest.
Miranda has a stepsister. Whenever they were little, all she would talk about is how Ronald Reagan was the best president. And it's like, I love how
I sent a
definitive.
picture to the group chat where it was like a picture of Trump and it said "In God We Trust," and then there was a picture of Ronald Reagan in a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I
beside
saw
him.
that. That's really good.
That was in an Amish house that we were selling. I wrote to my dad. I was like, "Yeah, we know we're talking because I was a salesman for my company and we're going around to people we sell to." And I was like, "Yeah, we're going like." And he was like, "Isn't like Amish air conditioning like wind?" And I was like, "I don't know why we're here. If I'm being
Don't
honest."
they have really big fans? And just blast them with air.
They ever see a group of Amish people go at each other?
Hey,
Someone sits in
real
the
hot
middle.
Hamish. I need you to give me a breeze. Okay.
Dude, they're smelly. Dude. They smell so bad.
Oh yeah, because they don't have deodorant.
That is false.
And they have really big beards.
They use deodorant. It's just like really bad deodorant. It's the equivalent of like rubbing gunpowder on your armpits. I'm like, yeah.
It's just replacing-
Makes me think of Monsters Inc.
It's just replacing a
Oh,
bad
yeah,
thing
you
with
gotta-
another
yeah,
bad
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Wet dog.
Yeah, what dog? I got rid of garbage.
Right, garbage.
All right.
That's all the
I
country
love
smells
that.
like.
It smells like Monsters Inc.
It smells like Monster Inc. in there.
This next one, I like a lot.
Okay.
Zombies can rise from the dead.
Okay, I like the idea of decaying muscle, being able to push up through
6
all
feet.
6 feet of
6
dirt.
feet of dirt. Not only
Listen,
People get buried alive and they can't do that, let alone
through
rotting.
whatever coffin
All right.
or
All
container
right.
they're
So
in.
the way that they do it, I have seen this twice in my life.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because I've had 2 dead relatives.
Oh, did they come back?
No, shut up. I was about to explain how hard it would be. So,
You meant
first
like
off-
I've seen 2 people.
no, you
dead.
fucking fool.
I've seen 2 people.
Trust me,
come
my
back.
dad ain't here. Anyways, so they lower the coffin down, and there is like a concrete case
Yeah.
that they put the coffin in, and so you would have to not only get out of this heavy ass coffin, you would have to push through this 500-pound concrete case and up 6 feet of dirt.
Yeah, people get buried alive and cannot get out, let alone rotting, decaying bone. And the only way I could ever see a, like, air quotes, zombie is like a radioactive, what's left
Like
of a
freshly
person.
dead, yeah.
It's
like
it's a like shallow grave
Like
from,
a
like
Draugr.
the 1800s.
Like I could see like a half dead,
You know that it is
rotting corpse of a person
One-
crawl back out.
One thing I didn't know is that in like New Orleans, they have to have above ground cemeteries because they're below sea level.
Mm.
Anytime it floods, it just washes out all the graves. So like a lot of poor people, they can't afford to have their relatives in above ground like cemeteries. So whenever the rains come or like a hurricane or something, it all gets flooded out.
And their
They
body.
just have to like rebury their like dead relatives.
I like the idea that there's
And there are
body
people-
floating across the
um,
top.
A lot of people still like practice voodoo and shit down there.
It's awesome.
And
I
so
wanna
they have
go
to
through
they have to like steal they steal these people's like bones and shit.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Is
I don't-
is that the word that you're gonna use?
It's awesome. It is epic. It is cool. I like the idea of taking people's dead relatives' bones and using them.
grinding,
I like.
grinding them into a
I
poultice and like
agree with
rubbing it on my
Robin.
cock.
I agree with okay. If I died and some lovely old Creole woman from Louisiana took my femur and put it into a stew to help make someone see again.
Well, listen.
That's cool, bro. If she wanted to shove that up her ass, I
Oh
wouldn't
my
care.
god.
I'm not
All right,
using
that's
it
where
anymore.
I draw the line.
I'm not using it anymore. What do I need my femur for? I'm dead. She can fucking swallow the whole thing.
Me, I would like to keep all of my pieces and parts.
No.
If
sell them to
I-
home-
I want to.
If I go to Valhalla and then I suddenly miss if I lose half my arm, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, you're not.
The way
You're
I
dead.
want it to be
You
done,
don't feel anything.
I'm gonna be cremated, or I want them to put my ashes in a box, plant a tree on top of it.
I want.
I want a sky burial. Throw me
Was
out of a
it-
plane on a field. And
was it Alan?
Shoot me out of a cannon, please.
Was it Alan who told me that like
That would chip you.
The parts would be cool.
Just a miss.
was it Alan
It's
that
like
told me
confetti.
that the
It's like a party popper.
like the Viking funeral boat is
Yeah,
like
you-
a thing that you
you
can't
can
do.
do that.
You can.
Yeah.
You'd probably have to go to fucking Scandinavia.
Worth
You'd
it.
have to go to like. Well, no, they probably do it in like Florida.
That's how I
You'd have
want
to
to
go
go.
to. You'd have to go to like a coast state.
That doesn't count. Anything goes in Florida.
You would have to.
Yeah, you could
you'd have
literally
to
do
go. You'd have to like know someone who owns like beachfront property or something, and they would be cool and not tell anyone about it.
Mm.
Legally, you're allowed, but there's like a certain
There's like permits and
there's
shit.
a certain group of people.
That's
that
how
have
I
to
wanna
allow you
go.
do it. That's pretty cool. I always wanted to like. I think it'd be really funny if I got stuffed.
Like a Thanksgiving turkey.
No, I do that every Thanksgiving. But I want to be like, I don't know why I cannot. A taxidermy. I want to get taxidermy.
He fucking said that.
I don't really listen to what he says. But I was
To be
mid
honest.
sentence.
Good choice.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of my offspring. They have kids, and I'm like they
That's
have
your
the burden.
granddad.
They have the burden of keeping my
Maintaining
corpse.
your
and it's
yeah.
like I'm up in the attic.
You're
Like,
a
I'm up in
family
the attic,
heirloom.
sitting there. Like I want to be posed in a chair, like reading a book with a pipe in my mouth. And like, want to go see Grandpa?
Monocle.
You wanna go see Grandpa? You're like, yeah. And they bring him up. And they're like, because they walk up and there's a corpse up there.
Mummified body.
I'm just staring like.
I think taxidermy is always a really uncomfortable situation.
I have actually watched a video of someone that does taxidermies, and they're like, the more human like the structure of the body is, the more difficult. Like someone had to stuff a sloth and it did not work well, and they're not very. I mean, like in terms of if
Vaguely
it
humanoid.
stood up vertically, it would be very set shoulder.
Yeah.
And they said it would be really difficult just with the shape and the way that our body naturally sits is only possible with our bone and muscle structure.
That's really weird.
So holding our face up the way that your face would be like sagging down,
Oh.
and your like your fingertips
my
would be down
God.
below where they should be.
That's
like, they just
really
can't- they-
terrifying.
It's hard to recreate what a human should look like without it being a
Yeah,
living.
humans are like really
Like
purpose
whenever
built.
someone dies, after a while, you can see like their skin doesn't hold to the bone the way it's supposed to, and it falls. Like you
Yeah,
see
you
their
have
bone
to
pop
have
up a little
certain
bit.
muscles and stuff that keep everything in place. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're just a saggy
And once you're dead,
meatbag.
they snap. And the only way to like fix it is that you could like go in and like zip tie the muscle to the bone, but then it looks gross and
It
you have a
makes me,
ring. And
um,
it's just like it's weird.
Makes me think of fucking.
Makes you think of fucking.
You know who doesn't
What
have
kind of
bones?
fucking do you do?
Crabs.
I could cremate a
They
crab.
got bones on the outside.
Yeah, they got bones on the
Yeah,
outside.
you don't have to hide the bones. You don't have
Speaking of crabs,
Eugene,
Amelia Earhart was eaten by crabs.
hear me out. All right.
Okay.
I'm not saying that this is what happened. I'm saying it's entirely
well,
possible.
if you crash into the ocean, especially if you get washed up ashore, crabs would absolutely.
There
feast
are
on
there
you.
are.
And
I think specifically they're talking about these type of crabs called coconut crabs.
huge.
They are huge fuckers.
Giant
You
crabs.
look up a coconut crab. You'll see just how big it is.
They're big boys.
You can see them next to like basketballs and shit.
They will eat you. They will eat your.
They are
decaying flesh.
omnivorous.
Some think she landed by mistake on a deserted island and was eventually eaten by 3-foot-long coconut crabs.
Yep.
That's like half
the-
half the size of a 6-foot man. Well, that doesn't really. put
The
things
idea
into
that
perspective.
the idea that she got attacked and eaten by them as if like they were hunting
think
for
that
her
she
is
was-
false.
Yeah,
But
because
if
they're
she
like
died
scavengers.
via like starvation, or if she crashed, starved, dehydrated, they absolutely would eat her corpse, and that's why we can't find it.
I think that makes sense to me.
They get eaten.
I think that she probably crashed at sea and then like
She's
probably
full
giant
of fungus
isopods.
right now. Like she's probably a pile
Oh.
of bones of fungi growing out of the marrow. That's probably what she is right
You
now.
fucking imagine that thing like
That's
crawling
wild.
its way to the surface, like Last of Us style.
Imagine like
That'd be
you're
terrifying.
sitting there like fading away, like you're dehydrating, like oh, like pulsing vision, and you see like 12 coconut crabs, like 36 total feet of crab coming up there.
You're about to go the mushroom route. You see them like
You see
popping
mushrooms
out of your
growing
skin,
out of your skin because you haven't been dry in days. And like growing fun. Oh, no.
and then your thoughts are no longer your own, and your body's being puppeted by the fungus.
you're like those ants, dude. You're becoming fungus.
That is terrifying.
Could you imagine seeing someone who was like a husk just being controlled by a fungus?
Dead?
And they're sucking up like dirt.
That's
trying
how
to feed the
really
fungus.
horrifying The Last of Us would be.
Dude, we should make a. That'd be a great.
The
movie.
Last of Us is too stereotypical zombie. It needs to be more terrifying.
Yeah, it needs to be full of fungus.
It needs to be full of fungus. Right?
You
What's
go
up?
ahead. What are you chuckling about, friend?
5G causes cancer.
Fuck yeah, baby.
I think anything causes cancer.
Anything in big enough doses will cause
I
cancer.
really
That's
love
exactly what
the
I'm saying.
filthy
Okay,
Frank bit
no.
where he's like, if you get exposed to too much of anything, you get cancer.
Hey, no, shut the fuck up. A solar flare caused the Titanic to sink.
A solar flare.
Solar
causes-
flare?
Like the sun, like there was a burst of energy on the
It
sun
sliced the Titanic in half.
that came that came nowhere near the Earth.
It's a divine
No. What
source.
happened is that it hit a fucking iceberg.
A study
It's-
recently discovered.
It hit a several 100-ton chunk of ice.
A study recently discovered that the
Fucking
northern
ended
hemisphere was experiencing a moderate to severe magnetic storm on the night of the ship's collision. Similar solar flares are known to cause power outages on Earth and could have affected the ship's radar and radio rescue signals.
So this is like
The
this
idea
is
that
like
it-
saying that Earth. This is like saying that because of Earth's axis, because Earth exists, the Titanic fell. It's like, yeah,
I
no
get-
shit.
They
Yeah.
fell
Like,
off the edge.
Okay, the idea that a solar flare, cut off connection, I guess is reasonable, but that's not why it sunk. It sunk because you can't
sunk,
steer
yeah,
it
exactly.
because it's huge.
It's sunk
and
because
you went
it
into
hit
a
a
fucking
fucking iceberg.
It's not the if
It's the solar flare did not make the iceberg.
An iceberg wouldn't be on your
That
radar
would be hold
anyway.
on. That would be like saying that the
if
man who
your
invented
GPS
gun
died-
would kill a dude who was shot with a gun.
if you're, it's similar to saying like if you're in a car and your GPS dies. And then you smash into a tree. It's because the GPS.
didn't know your
Because the GPS died.
Yeah, the GPS died. That's what killed him. The
It's
GPS killed him.
such a silly way of doing
That's
it.
stupid.
It's so
They
roundabout.
still know how to steer a boat. They still can see. That was the issue, is that they weren't weren't fucking paying attention. And this boat was huge.
Oh, it'll move.
And it was also huge.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
like,
the iceberg was bigger.
yeah, I'm saying
Yeah.
like it's hard to steal it. It's hard steal. Yeah, it's hard to steal a Titanic too. It's hard to steer a giant.
Trust me, it's hard to steal.
I'm
the
assuming
Titanic.
like steering a bus is harder than steering a car. I'm assuming steering the Titanic
Steering
is really difficult.
How
It's
long was
probably-
the Titanic? I'm gonna look this up.
It was 2 or 3
Think
years.
about
How long was the Titanic?
2 or 3 years.
It
was a couple hours
I thought it
long.
was about to give me the fucking runtime.
That was a couple hours long. My goodness. See, that's why they couldn't have
Wow.
avoided the iceberg if they tried. They would have had to turn
How
like
much
20
for the
miles
people?
back.
How long was it?
Like the sinking?
The fucking ship.
Oh, 883 feet. Sorry, I thought Google picked up. Oh my god.
Who was thinking there was a
there's
stopwatch
a-
timing this thing? Like, oh, it's starting to go down. Okay.
How
Hey,
long was it?
Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Oh,
Hold on, there's a
it's
ship
for
called
like
the Queen
5
Mary.
hours. I'm like,
The
thinking.
Queef Mary.
Shut up.
Queen Mary?
There's a ship called the Queen Mary
Queen
that
Mary.
is over 1,000 feet long.
What?
Yeah, I think it's still afloat. I think that it's like a
That's
tourist
crazy.
attraction. I think they turned it into like a hotel. If
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken.
I think that
And it's like
you're right.
incredibly haunted, like, air quote, like it's extremely
That
haunted
is absurd
to
to
people.
me. That is 1,000 feet long.
It's a big boat. Could you imagine trying to steer that?
Why are you making a stink face?
What?
More aliens.
Oh boy.
Hey, they're real. They're just
Aliens
bacteria.
are fun.
The Black Knight satellite is an alien spacecraft.
The
So
Black
Batman?
Knight's no, the Black Knight satellite is a thing that is in low Earth orbit that we've seen a few times, and it's like just like a weird black object. In all likelihood, is just an asteroid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people definitely believe that it is not.
People want to believe that it's not the normal thing,
yeah, people.
not the asteroid that's
the people
perfectly
want to go
possible.
against Occam's razor.
The
Uh,
most
whatever.
convoluted explanation is the right one.
For those of you who in the audience who might not know what Occam's razor is, essentially it's the school of thought saying the most reasonable explanation is likely the one that it is, which is
Yeah, that's
fucking
pretty-
logic.
That's pretty simple, yeah.
The simplest
one that's
explanation
right.
is usually right.
The one that makes sense is probably the right answer.
Exactly. The one that you have to make, I think that the technical definition is the one that you have to make the least assumptions to get to.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the idea that a meteor, which there
Well,
are
well,
plenty
hang on
of,
now. What if?
Especially
being
around,
caught
like,
into our orbit, which is not small.
Well, no. What if people just automatically like, oh, there's a rock in space. It belongs to aliens. Like, what if that was their first jump?
That is a
then
lot
they're
of people's
wrong.
first jump. That's
Then
probably how Jones thinks.
somewhere along the line, they have fucked up in other Occam razors.
If somebody came up to me and they're like, no, this is an alien spacecraft.
You're like, chill the fuck out, dude.
My first thought is, why didn't you greet me first? I don't know your name.
You're like, why are you saying this to me?
My
Please
second
go
thought
away.
is, do you
I'm just trying to
legitimately
eat Chick-fil-A, dude.
do you legitimately believe in
I was
aliens?
trying to eat my homophobic chicken.
Not sponsored by Chick-fil-A, but we wish we were. But
Oh,
I don't
trust
know,
me.
man. Most of their
I
sponsors
would rim
are kind
a
of
Chick-fil-A CEO.
yeah, they're kind of weird.
we don't agree
We
with.
had like a secret lore. Like I was waiting for Miranda was going into like a stat care or something, and I was waiting outside and I had nothing better to do. So Alan and I think you were pitching in too. We started this bullshitting lore that Chick-fil-A closes on Sundays because they are like crusaders, and they are always
Oh.
preparing to like fight holy battles on Sundays.
Yeah. By the way, we don't fucking support their.
Anti-gay doctrine.
Yeah, we
That's no
don't.
good.
We don't support
Like I
their
said,
ideals.
I wouldn't want to. As much as you get a lot of money being sponsored by
It's just like any
It-
other
it's
major
just not
corporation.
cool.
You support their
You
product.
gotta,
not
you
their
gotta,
idea.
you
Yeah.
gotta divorce
they have
the people behind it
It's like
and
R.
the
Kelly.
thing itself. It's like what?
It's like R. Kelly.
I don't think anything about R. Kelly is redeeming, honestly.
No, I don't like R.
I
Kelly.
think a better comparison would be like Bill Cosby.
Yeah, great art. Bad person.
Terrible person, piece of shit.
Bad company. Shitty people on that company. But I mean, their chicken is really good.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
I want you to go to Chick-fil-A, get their chicken nuggets, a sandwich, anything that has chicken in it, and tell me that shit is bad.
And then you
It's so
have to
good.
whisper to the cashier, "I'll see you on Sunday," and then wink, and then leave.
See you on Sunday, then you kiss a man.
I wanna go like out of state and like aggravate a Chick-fil-A employee.
Well, they don't believe
Out
the
of
same
state?
things. They're just,
I don't want to get banned from anywhere in Ohio, dude. I love Chick-fil-A.
I don't go to Chick-fil-A mostly because I don't feel like going to Chick-fil-A. It's
Yeah, it's
it's
way
too
out of the
far
way.
away.
It's there's
It's
no
good.
Chick-fil-A's
The closest
around us
Chick-fil-A around us is like 40 minutes.
If we had
30.
a Chick-fil-A,
30?
in Canton. Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, it's about it's like right out. It's right, I think right outside Bell. That's like near Belton.
it's
on the
in
strip.
Belton.
I think it's like
Whatever.
yeah,
shut
it's
up.
it's
It's in the area.
But if there was a Chick-fil-A down the road, not only would I eat a lot of chicken, but I'd also just poke and prod endlessly about gay things. Like I'd walk in holding hands with a man and order a chicken sandwich.
That'd be awesome.
Just
We
like those kind of things.
we already
I
did so many gay jokes.
said I love their chicken, but I hate their opinions. and if I could just mess with them morally and then eat my
What if it's like
delicious
the
chicken.
higher you get up in the ladder of the Chick-fil-A management, the more indoctrinated you become? Like they start like handing you under the table like the Christian Bible, and then it goes into like weird pamphlets, and it's like some like other texts.
You think CEO is like basically like the original followers of
he's-
Jesus?
Yeah, he's like the apostles.
Dave Chick-fil-A is like the actual Messiah.
No, Dave Chick-fil-A is Judas after thousands of years of torment. He's like, I have realized that sacrificing Jesus was a bad answer, so I'm going to spread
Also
my doctrine through chicken.
Yeah,
exactly.
also chicken.
He's
Here you
going
go.
to the ploy
And their
is
brownies, dude. Have you had
new-
their brownies?
new conspiracy
Dude, they
theory.
have incredible brownies.
the ploy
They're so
is
moist. Oh,
the ploy is that he is doing the chicken so he can spread his message.
Why is he doing my chicken?
Doing the chicken.
that's why it's
He's
not
making
dry,
chicken.
dude.
Why is he
Judas
putting his
is fucking
wiener
with
in
chicken. It's so good because
You're
Judas
eating
fucks
a
with
little
chicken.
bit of Judas.
Dude, I'd eat Judas up.
Have you seen the
And he'd love
Have
me.
you seen the video from Pilot Red Sun where it's swole Jesus versus Judas?
Yeah.
I fucking love that video so much. Jesus beats the shit out of Judas, gets shot, and runs off into the horizon after jumping into the ocean.
That's how Chick-fil-A feels after I have sex with every one of their male employees. And then they can tell me who they support.
Dude, one of us has to. How fruity are you, Paco? I don't know how much.
I'm mildly fruity.
Okay, I didn't
I
know.
mean,
how much
I've been in
factor.
one long relationship, so I really haven't.
You haven't had a chance to explore.
I've had 4 years with it, so
I
I'm
have a
I'm relatively straight right now.
I have a chance to explore.
Yeah, you do. You're not in a relationship.
Start having sex with guys that work at Chick-fil-A.
Hey, viewers, if any of you work at Chick-fil-A and want to fuck Gavin, go right ahead.
Reach out to me.
Hit him up.
Here's his number.
I've been meeting.
Here's his address.
330.
Plate number.
His plate number, his IP address.
Here's a picture of his house. In case you get lost.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of his cat too, for no particular
Just
reason.
to verify
Of
that
course,
this
he
is
also lives,
Social
like-
Security, you can look up that he exists.
Of course, he lives very close to my house, so I could just go take a picture.
Here's the layout of his house.
So you can find his room easily.
The floor plan.
I can walk you up there.
Hit me up. We'll meet at the park.
Hit me up. Well,
Meet me at the park.
Gavin
and
will already be naked.
And then we'll run a train on Gavin.
He'll be ready.
We're all running straight on Gavin. Send a video to Chick-fil-A headquarters via email.
I would like to. I don't want to work in the food industry ever. I already work in retail, and that's bad enough. I want to infiltrate Chick-fil-A.
What if we
Just like for a month?
their
You know,
cashiers?
you have to wear like a Groucho Marx mask
Yeah.
the entire time you're there.
Like during the interview, they're like, "Is that your face?" I'm like, "Uh huh."
Yeah, this is me.
Yeah. That's
Can't-
me.
Check out my
Can't
nose, dude.
And then every once in a while you sneeze, the mask comes off a little bit.
Yeah, like film it.
And then you're like, ah, no one saw that.
They're like, "Did you have a stroke?" You're like, "Yep."
No, but like a month in, they find me and another male employee just like French kissing in like the cooler.
I was about to say like the broom closet. No, just directly in the lobby after hours. You're like grinding on each other in a booth.
Like we're sweeping. He's putting the chairs up on the tables, and we're like, "Hey."
You violently start making out, knock over a table.
Pull his pants off.
Dog just like, yeah, like it's intense.
Whatever manager
Great
on
for
site is
technique.
like,
The manager's like, "Oh, dude,
the manager's
Give me some of
also,
that Chick-fil-A sauce, if you know what I mean.
Do you think this? I'm not gonna say that on podcast.
it's a gay sex party in the Chick-fil-A every Sunday." That's why they don't let you
That's
in.
what it
right,
really
fun.
is.
They're all letting out they're all burning off the steam that they normally have. Or they're just like itching.
They're all
to
just a
fucking
bunch
do,
of
and they're like-
horny, angry bastards.
They have a weekly purge of homosexual
Yeah,
And
thought.
they all pray
Yeah,
together afterwards.
Yeah, you can have like a another cult thing based off of that.
They have like a seance in every Chick-fil-A
they're
basement.
like hedonists, but only one day of the week where they purge themselves of their
Then
sin.
everyone blows the CEO.
That's really.
I really like
that's another
this.
really
And
good
then-
alternate lore.
Well, what they do is they blow the CEO and then they pray directly afterwards and they leave and then they just keep going in the line.
Yeah, the CEO every once a year, every Chick-fil-A employee lines up and sucks the CEO.
Except for the women.
So you guys
The women
know,
have to watch, and they suck each other.
you guys know how Chick-fil-A employees are always like really, like they're better than most fast food employees.
Because they get to blow the CEO.
Well, that.
Because
But
they're not distracted by these earthly desires.
I like to imagine there's just like one male employee in the men's bathroom. He's got like his hands folded in front of him very politely, and then like you stand in front of the urinal, he undoes your pants, pulls them down, you pee, and you're like, "I'm ready." And then he comes over and he shakes your wiener for you.
He says, "Oh, you're getting a little stiff, buddy. You gonna meet me after hours?"
Meet me on Sunday.
I told my last girlfriend that we don't wipe our wieners. We just shake
yeah.
them. And she thought that was disgusting.
Well,
How?
Yeah,
How is that
that's
disgusting?
a funny
Well,
story.
do you have any idea how small my pee hole is?
Do you have any idea how small my penis is?
Yeah, that too. But like, what? It would be redundant. I would just get toilet paper
Well,
on my dick.
I mean, I can't lie. I guess I lived with women, and I was taught, like potty trained by women, and it was like very strict on.
Do you sit down when you pee?
I do not sit down when I pee.
Okay.
I did when I was
That's a
little.
good sign.
I did when I was little because I was like little. I don't know. I was like, whatever. You do
didn't do
weird
anything.
shit.
Yeah.
It's easier when you're little
But
anyway.
basically, like, whenever I pee, it's like a whole process. It's like I flip the lid up, I pee, I flush, and I put the lid back down, and I do wipe. It's almost like a tibbity tap, like a little.
Yeah, take like one square, fold it over, tap.
Yeah. Oh, basically it's like, have you ever like put it back, and you feel like a little. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah,
no,
that's the worst.
No,
It's
that is
always-
the perfect avoidance.
What I do is I like Go-Gurt it just a little bit. Honestly, seriously. If I feel a little bit left, yeah, I'm like a tube of toothpaste.
Yeah, you start at the base and you squeeze it to the end. I have never thought to do that with my penis.
I can't lie. Whenever
That's what I do though.
Why would you?
I start at the base and I just go a little, just once, just
Why
a
would-
little bit.
when I
Why
was
would you,
little-
Rusty? You know this is going on the internet.
Yeah.
when I was little,
It's better than having piss in my pants.
when I was little, you know, like when you're little, you don't completely understand how everything works.
Yeah.
If I felt like I had some pee left over,
What would you do?
I would revert straight to the balls, dude.
It
It was like a
Has to
little,
be
like a
in
little,
there.
like a little. And just see if
You take out a
anything-
ping pong paddle. Oh!
Dude, I was little. I just wanted to fucking towel.
Why
my
won't it
nuts.
come out?
If I felt like I still had to pee, I
Honestly,
couldn't.
though, whenever you're a little kid,
I didn't
getting
know.
hit, yeah, whenever you're a little kid, getting hit in the nuts hurts a lot less.
I do have one like very vivid memory of me sitting down a little too fast with like just like, you know, loose shorts like I normally have,
Mhm.
and my nuts just slapping on the concrete and just the blistering pain that I had after that.
Yeah.
And
Oh
I
my
flopped
God.
down, I just went, and I was like,
That's
oh,
like a surprisingly common thing.
Have you ever sat on your nuts?
I have.
Once or twice, yeah.
It takes
It
very,
doesn't
it takes a very specific.
I feel like a
weather.
really hot day, so they're
Yeah,
hanging
really
low
warm.
already.
I've never sat on them, but I remember, I think it was like freshman year of high school. I didn't sit on them, but like I pinched the skin between
Yeah,
my
that's
thigh
terrible.
and the seat.
Or another thing that's terrible is like whenever you're like your thigh hair works like Velcro, and it's like everything like you're walking for a while and you go to sit down and it's like you can feel like tension.
Dude, the
Yeah,
other
You're like,
week-
what the fuck?
I normally don't shave very bad. The other week, I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know what got I pissed off, but I shaved so bad that if you looked like the skin on my thighs, it was like raw.
Oh,
Like it was like
That
bleeding.
sucks.
Like and like it
I did not shave
showering.
my thighs.
Showering was I don't. I mean, like, granted, I guess
Like not even
my-
like the upper part.
my thighs are like relatively not super hairy.
It gets like hairier as you go up.
What the
Which
fuck
is
are we
kinda
talking
scary.
about now?
We're hairy. We're talking about our balls. and
This
such.
is the idea of the podcast. We're just documenting the course of conversation.
Well, you know, we talk
We went
about
from talking about Chick-fil-A to talking about balls.
yeah. Well, a lot of gay sex happens at
A
Chick-fil-A.
lot of gay stuff
And-
happened in
and
between,
they're-
so that's okay.
They're avid support for same-sex marriage that Chick-fil-A has. They won't admit it. What if
It's like
what
it's
if I
like
get
anyone
you-
who gets
It's your
overly
podcast. What if you
offended.
get sued by Chick-fil-A for
Oh.
slandering their name?
all right.
Like
Chick-fil-A.
I don't have that money, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, you're gonna run a couple of fucking bums into the ground. Good job.
See, you can sue me, but I'm still gonna blow all your employees, so it really doesn't matter. Then
Really, it's just gonna add more incentive because I'm gonna have to start working on the streets to get money. And if your Chick-fil-A employees happen to come to me because I give the best blowies, then that's their fault.
dude, my blowies are immaculate.
And it's your fault too.
I'll remove my teeth just to make my game the best.
What?
Gum that shit down.
Don't worry about it. Is there any more conspiracy theories?
The last ones were kind of stupid. Well, I remember one.
Well, I
Alright.
go before too long.
The other ones were very.
Oh, yeah. We'll switch tracks after you get up.
The other ones were very political.
It is midnight right now.
So I want to
Yeah,
skip over
I gotta
those.
wake up in like 5 hours.
But the one
You
that I
wanna go up?
remember, is Queen Elizabeth I was actually a young boy.
Okay.
The little tangent that they had. Well, I guess not a tangent. The little paragraph that they had was that Queen Elizabeth I died at a very young age and was replaced by a small boy, which would explain why Queen Elizabeth I did not have any children.
Had giant dick.
God,
See a
it's
photo
Giant
of
swinging Big
You
Ben
can just-
cock.
you can see
Can
it.
we move away from the cock for 2 minutes?
her.
They,
Dude, I can't
they,
talk
they,
away from
they
it.
replaced her with a boy and then they just gave him a lot of estrogen.
I guess so. Or
Forced
either
feminization.
that
That's
or
terrible.
or women back then were
British
just
government
ugly.
turned him into a femboy. Not clickbait.
The world's first femboy.
First femboy. was Queen Elizabeth the First.
Britain was losing from the start, dude.
Britain fucking blows. If
There's
you're
no
British,
gay people in Ireland, Kathleen.
he's just flamboyant. He's a showman. He's not gay.
He's just a little confused.
He'll find a nice woman. Settle down.
He's
He'll-
just a little flamboyant. I like
love
the
that,
term.
love that video so much.
He's flamboyant. He's a showman. That's what they do. He's a singer, Kathleen.
That video was uploaded like 5 years ago. The other day, I got like a recommended post from that channel that was merchandise, and it was. From,
There's no gay people.
He's flamboyant, Kathleen. I fucking love the Irish accent.
I like.
Yeah,
I like.
yeah.
Stupid.
I like how he, like his first instincts be like, he's a showman. He's a singer.
He's
he
trying
just
to excuse
acts
it so bad.
He's not. He's flamboyant, Kathleen. He's so flamboyant. He kisses men. That's
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 for the bit.
that's
It's
called.
commitment.
It's called gay, dude.
Oh no, it's commitment.
No. If you're an actor, if you're a straight actor and you kiss a man on set, sorry, you just can't go on Chick-fil-A anymore. Like you are. You're
Paco,
not straight.
have I don't think I've told you. Rusty, I think you're pretty aware.
Did you blow it?
My grandmother does not understand the recent development that sex and gender are two different things.
Okay. I feel like that's not too hard. Like,
It's-
Right?
There's your
Like,
sex is
your
your
sex is-
biological sex, and your gender is what you feel you are.
Exactly. That's exactly how I explained it to her. Sex is what's in your
I think
pants,
it's because she's a closed-minded old woman.
and
Well-
gender is what's in your brain.
that's why it's perfectly fine for a woman to have a penis, because their sex is a masculine one. They have a penis, but they are.
What
a
about
woman.
foetus though?
That's whatever they.
Let them decide.
Same mindset. I don't care. Call it whatever you
You got a
want.
dick, I'll suck it.
I'll suck it. I'll suck it. Whether
God
you're
damn
a
it.
girl or
I'm
not.
just saying, realistically speaking, like if you're a dude, right?
Mhm.
You fall for this girl, right?
Find
You
out
go
she has
on
a penis.
Yeah,
Like-
you find out she has a penis. You're probably not going to turn her down,
Does it?
Well,
especially if you're like.
Okay. Well,
Or-
my question is, how far along is it?
This is like say you fall for this girl, right? You've been dating for like months, and
Okay.
then she's like, I haven't told you, but I have a dick. It's like I personally would not care.
Well, is it bigger than mine?
That's the
And,
important.
and if it is, then I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, if I've already fallen for them,
I'm sorry that I'm gay.
past
Well-
the point of no return.
Well, no, I found on the first date, so I'd know from the get-go.
As long as it's not like a really gross, like
Gross
New York,
schlong.
Boston penis.
New York and Boston.
It's an absolute unsucked chode. Like it's
Oh
just
my
like,
god, this is really bad to look at.
there's things growing under it. Like,
1 inch long, 7 inch wide. Call it the dinner plate.
yeah, see, what you're gonna do is
You
you're
said
gonna,
the dinner plate in reference to penises. I think it was the bean steak.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, who sent that first, Alan?
That was Alan. It came from his cousin.
There's
I saved it on my phone for like years.
I still have
and
it
then
on
I
my
found
phone.
it.
there's an image in circulation because I doubt anyone else has seen this fucking image. It's just a dude with his massive penis over a plate of baked beans.
No, it's on a it's a plate with a steak on it, but the steak is covered in baked beans.
And he's holding like
And
a
he's
knife and a
got he's
fork.
got a knife and
and
fork
there's a
in both
mug,
hands,
and
and
then
his
a
dick
penis.
is just in the middle of the frame.
And he slangs that thing, dude. It's not. It's
It
not
is
a
a
small
terrifying looking penis.
Yeah, no, it looks like it would destroy some intestines.
I mean, hey.
Uh-huh.
Anyone with a
Just
steak
a
like
reminder, everyone, Cellar Jelly is NSFW.
Yeah.
No.
Good reminder. 1 hour,
No.
18 minutes, and 8 seconds in.
This is stuff that you play in front of your grandparents because
Yeah, you want your
because we
grandma to
respect
know what
our
the
elders.
with the hip and
Dude,
cool
trust
young
me,
shit to
grandma
do.
knows about penis.
There
alright?
was,
Grandma knows a thing or two
that's-
about penis.
That's definitely true.
There was a Game Grumps episode
That's a
where
weird
they
thing to think about,
they-
but that's true.
they essentially opened with "I'm getting fucked while eating my own pussy," and somebody's mom heard that and she said, "It's not very Christmassy of him."
That's not very Christmassy.
That's something
Dude, the
like my
Christmassy.
mom would say.
Yeah, yeah. Your mom is cool.
The Christmassy, dude.
You say
Christmassy.
Christmassy, it makes me think
Christmassy.
of Chris Chan. I don't want to think of Chris Chan.
You don't want to think about Chris Chan's disgusting unwashed pussy?
The Chris Chan's unclit.
You know how long it took me to find out that Chris Chan was not a male? I kind of could have assumed from the whole
Yeah, Chris
making
Chris
your
Chan,
own vagina thing.
Yeah, Chris Chan is a is trans.
Is a woman.
Is a woman, yeah.
Also a terrible.
Also fucked their senile mother
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and went to jail for it.
she
Good.
fucked her senile mother
I'm glad.
and went to jail. Also made an incredible comic book series.
Is it?
Yeah, the
Sonnet-
Sonnet.
Oh, is it incredible?
Jesse actually purchased the
In-
first edition of it.
you
Incredible
fucking
and
kidding
original.
me?
Of course Jesse would do that. Of
Oh.
course Jesse would do
Oh,
that.
there's a
That's
whole,
so in
there's a whole
character.
magic set that he's getting. That's
It's the Sonnet 2 cards?
No, it's My Little Pony.
Yo.
Oh.
And the thing is, okay, like I don't know how much do you guys know about magic.
I
don't
watched
know
like all.
anything.
I watched the first 3 seasons and the movie. Both movies.
But
My Little Pony. That's
Yeah.
what he's talking about.
But in short, there's a card in it, and if you play it, then you can pull out an official My Little Ponies toy, and every color on that figure that relates to magic, so the colors that you can have,
Mhm.
you are immune to any move from a creature with that. So if
Rainbow
you get
Dash.
Rainbow Dash, because of the
You're
black
immune
on
to
the eye,
everything?
the black on the eyes, the black and white on the eyes, and the colors on the rest, literally no one can do any damage to you. That set of cards, 60 cards, also $300, and he is hell bent on getting that,
What?
Madman.
just so he can beat us in magic every time with
once,
My Little Pony
uh,
cards.
I once, it was a bunch of people in one of Miranda's server,
Mhm.
Moonbell, and they were sending selfies, and so I sent a picture of Chris Chan and said, "Fella cute, might delete later." And the thing is, well, I thought it was funny because in the picture, Chris Chan had like a bunch of like Transformers and action figures in the background, and that's what I have in my room.
Yeah, that's that's in character for you.
And the thing is, people believed that it was me, so I had to say that's not me. And then I sent a picture of what I actually looked like, and they were like, "Oh, that makes sense too."
I can see these both being viable options.
But both of these people look like they collect action figures.
I think the difference between me and Chris Chan is
One didn't fuck their dementia-riddled mother. One of them did not fuck their dementia-riddled mother.
yeah, and I'm not gonna say who it
Chris
is.
Chan's not
but-
on that level.
Yeah, no.
All right.
But
I gotta go to
good
bed.
night, Pac.
Good night, Paco.
Give me kisses. Come
Oh, I was expecting like an
So
actual
good.
kiss.
Oh.
No, yeah, kiss on the forehead doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. It's not gay.
Yeah, see.
You have socks on, so it's not gay on you.
Yeah.
I have socks on too.
I don't have
You're
socks
the only
on.
one who's rocking your bear grippers.
Yeah, so it was gay for me to receive that forehead kiss.
You will be receiving a subpoena later.
Oh. Okay. Well, good night.
Good night,
Good night,
Paco.
Pac.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
So what do you want to talk about now?
Oh, we were talking about being gay, so. Anyways, I feel like this is a good time in the podcast to go on one of our favorite
Dig up
segments.
some dirt?
Dig up some dirt. Let's go on the old celebrity rumors train.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Let me see what is poppin'. What is going on in the business? Let's see who. There's a surprisingly little amount of like shit happening. And I think it's because Comic-Con is taking up all the fucking news space.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to talk shit on some people who are much more successful than I am.
Much more successful.
And arguably more talented. It depends on the person.
Arguably.
Well, listen, if you're talking about like a Lil Yachty, I am not going to dispute the fact that I could do what he does. Except for say the N-word.
Lil Yachty can't say the N-word better than us.
Yeah.
For several reasons.
Alright, let's see. Let me see some shit.
Kind of just a lull in the celebrity space right now.
Alright. Ben Affleck. I guess Ben Affleck was convinced that at one point in one of his previous lives he was Sir Lancelot of the Knights of the Round Table.
Really?
Yeah, so he recently purchased a 15th century oak wood table.
Is he recreating the Knights of the Round Table?
He's doing his best to set something up in his like he's bought like a castle out in England. I guess he's technically now a lord because of the land that he purchased.
Yeah.
So
Well, there is that whole website where you can just purchase like a square foot of land in Scotland and then you're a lord.
He's done like a similar thing, except he bought a whole fucking castle because he's Ben Affleck.
Yeah. He's got some funds.
And he's taken to calling himself the Dark Knight, not only because of his role as Batman, but also aforementioned, his role as
Yeah, it's just
Sir
natural.
Lancelot.
Yeah, it's just natural.
And he is attempting to assemble his own Knights of the Round Table.
Oh, his own?
Yeah,
I
so
don't
then
know.
he can.
It seems like a bit of a you would assume that you would want to find.
It's like a Ragnarok situation where in the comics, after all the Asgardians died, Thor had to seek them out on Earth and reignite their like godhood.
I don't know.
It's like that's what Ben Affleck's doing.
No, well, you'd think you'd want to find like the people who were also previously Knights of the Round Table.
Exactly, that's what he's doing. He's finding these people who were the previous knights, and he's reigniting their spark.
Well, that's awesome. Do you know if he's like getting a suit of armor and like weapons and shit
Yeah,
to suit himself?
He is also gearing it towards looking like Batman, but it's pretty cool because it's Batman and also a suit of armor.
Dude, medieval Batman would kick ass.
There's actually a short run comic book series called Dark Knights of Steel, which is kind of a dumb name, but it's like medieval era Justice League.
Whoa. That sounds pretty cool. Ben Affleck. I never thought I'd hear the day Ben Affleck bought a castle.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's ridiculous, man.
Why in this list of celebrities is Chris Angel here?
Who's Chris? Oh,
Chris Angel, Mind Freak.
Chris Angel. He's dead.
He is?
No.
Shit. I didn't mean that.
No, for real though. What's Chris Angel up to?
Let's take a gander. I think that you should look into this one.
I
Since
am. I definitely am.
blew Ben Affleck out of the
Oh,
water.
I spelled his name wrong.
It's 2 S's. Fucking idiot.
I spelled it Chris, like any other fucking Chris on
He
the
has an
planet.
extra S because he's so fucking cool.
No, but on the wiki page, his full name is Christopher spelled properly.
So
What the fuck? Is he still alive though?
I'm pretty sure. And I think I haven't heard from him in years, but
There's no death date on Wikipedia, so I'm gonna assume so. I guess.
he's dropped off the grid entirely for about a decade.
Well, yeah, he dropped off the grid. He's been doing kids' birthday parties, like in and around like California, Nevada, that area, like the West Coast kind of area, a couple states in maybe. God, he used to have his own fucking TV show, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw one where he said watch this, and then he like did some weird hand gestures, pointed at one of the like some. He do like street magic, right?
Yeah.
This woman was
essentially.
walking her dog. He did these hand symbols, pointed at her dog, and the dog fucking exploded.
Whoa! I think that might have been like.
And then the woman would like screamed, and then he pointed at her, and she exploded.
I think that was the start of his downward trend.
Homicide is typically the start of someone's decline.
Yes, yeah, homicide generally not a good thing.
He then proclaimed, "I am your new god," and like flew above the trees.
Okay, yeah, it got out of hand. Chris, his show. I remember watching his show when I was little.
Me too.
The only segment that I remember is he was like, "I'm Jesus Christ," and he walked across water, but there was just like plexiglass platforms in the water, and then there was like a bit during the credits segment where, the other bystanders who didn't know that there was fucking plexiglass, even though you could feel it in the pool, they tried to walk across the plexiglass and they ate chlorinated water several times.
My favorite part of that is whenever a bunch of Romans came and they like crucified him, and then they put him in a cave, and then 3 days later he came out. He was okay.
Are you saying Chris Angel is Jesus?
I'm not saying he's Jesus. I'm saying he is on a similar level.
Oh. Well, I mean, with the shenanigans he gets up to.
I think he has faced a recent lack of magical energy in the fact that he is only doing birthday parties.
Yeah, well, he's doing like the card tricks, like the quarter behind your ear.
It's like, look at this. Wow,
He
you
does
pick an ace of hearts. Good job.
He does a balloon animal, like he blows it up, and then he like He tries to tie it, and then it all comes undone. He's like, "Look, it's a snake."
And he taps it and becomes a real snake.
And then all the
Hey,
kids,
kids.
all the kids fucking panic. It's not a venomous snake, but they don't know that. Kids
He
are
just
dumb.
flaps it again and it becomes a sword. It's honestly incredible what this man can do.
Chris Angel is on another freaking level.
Yeah, I saw him. I saw him turn all the water in the air around him into like acid, and he just withstood it.
He withstood otherworldly acid.
Yeah,
I guess it wouldn't be otherworldly.
he cast prestidigitation upon it.
I don't know. Can you produce harmful effects with prestidigitation?
Oh, he didn't make it outwardly harmful. He just turned a cube of air above him into acid, and the acid just so happened to be able to eat through his skin.
That's harmful.
Yeah, but it's to himself, so I guess it doesn't violate the rules of the spell.
Oh, it doesn't.
Also, this is real life and not Dungeons and Dragons, jackass.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Fucking fool.
I just assumed. Well, life and Dungeons and Dragons mirror each other very, very heavily.
I do fight dragons on a regular basis.
Well, I've never. I'm gonna be honest.
The dragon of depression.
The dragon. That's what I named my penis.
I fight with a skewer sometimes whenever it misbehaves.
Is that sounding?
No, I put a needle through my dick.
Oh, like
You gotta
horizontal,
pee out the side.
like perpendicular.
Like whenever you get a hole in a straw.
Ah.
What were you saying?
I don't remember. I'm thinking about putting a toothpick through my shaft.
Remember whenever I told you about penis painting?
Yes, yeah. You put a paintbrush in your hard wiener and then you paint on a canvas.
Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. You just put your dick and balls in paint and slap it on the canvas.
Yeah, we looked it up. We looked up videos. I thought it was really funny.
I don't remember the videos, but I do. It is a real thing that I heard about.
Did I tell you that?
Guys, to be clear, this is not a bit. If you really want to, you can look it up, but I do not advise it.
We'll say that I had a friend at work one time tell me about oh shit, what was it? It was about penises. Oh, he described to me his penis, like on the clock at work.
So I'm guessing this is your last job.
Sure. One of my previous jobs. It was a heavier set fellow. He said that his penis was like a Slim Jim.
Oh,
Very short, very thin.
greasy.
He's like, don't try to picture it. I'm like, well, it kind of.
You already put an image.
It feels like you want me to imagine it. I also imagined it like not shit. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Like just a bush of pubic hair around his tiny Slim Jim penis.
It hides it.
Like a thief in the night.
I was about to say like a lion stalking its prey.
I really like that.
That's terrifying. That's horrible. I really hate that.
Yeah, you're
Disgusting.
welcome.
I wonder if that picked up on the mic.
No, but for real, my last boss, when I worked for Dollar Tree for like 3 or 4 months, it was 4 months. It was 5. I worked 2 jobs for like 5 months. My boss at Dollar Tree said that he hated his own feet, but he really liked other people's feet.
Whoa.
He didn't
So he low-key admitted that he had like a foot fetish?
He made it a point that he didn't have a foot fetish. But me and all the assistant managers there were like, no, he likes feet.
Yeah, no, for sure. If you even key into it, like you say, "Hey, I think that feet are kind of cool." And like even if you aren't openly saying, "I have a foot fetish," you kind of saying it.
Well, the beauty,
or at the very least, people are going to speculate that you do.
The beauty of it is that I worked an opening shift from like 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. most days. Sometimes I'd have to stay later. But I had a rotation of like all of the managers. So I'd get to spread this rumor that he loves feet Not only to them, but
Spread
also
misinformation among your coworkers.
who said it was missing? He likes other people's feet.
All right. That's a good point. That's a good point. It's not misinformation.
Not only the managers, but also the other cashiers. So, some of the
One of them wanted to send feet pics.
one of them was a guy who graduated about a year before us. 1 or 2 years before us, and he's like, dude, I'm gonna send him feet pics one day.
Do you have like a first name? Like even just a first name?
Damon.
Damon?
Damon.
I don't know him.
I never got his last name either, so even if I
cool.
if I knew it, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
But yeah, I have no clue who that is. But that's cool.
He graduated from the same high school. So, well, I mean, obviously that doesn't help very much. We're gonna have to dig up old yearbooks because I still remember his face.
I still remember that fucking face.
I mean, we could just go down there one day and ask, like, hey, when's the next time Damon is working?
I guess you're right.
It would have to be like sometime in the afternoon.
You still have people on the inside, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All the same managers are still there. Well, no, two or three of them are. Cross, I think she's doing her own thing now. Yeah, because there was an assistant manager spot that opened,
Oh, okay.
and like a couple months after I had quit, one of the managers texted me and was like, "Hey, do you want an assistant manager spot?" And I'm like, "No, I'm at GameStop trying to get an assistant manager spot here."
They're like, oh, I see how it is.
Yeah, they're like, "You fucker. Can't believe you fucking dipped on us. Well, you knew this was coming."
Honestly, though, Dollar Tree is not in a great part of town either. It's out by the.
Did I ever tell you there's a guy who stole one of our shopping carts? We can see his fucking house from the parking lot.
That's amazing.
We can see that
there is it is flanked by a small trailer park and then a larger trailer park.
Yes.
And one of them is substantially worse than the other in terms of
So
inhabitants.
not only did he steal a shopping cart,
Which is, I'm not ragging on trailer parks.
he
It's just this particular trailer park is not great.
not only did he steal a shopping cart, he admitted to stealing it, and that he had some sort of mental handicap.
It makes me think. I bring up this character from time to time, but there is a person we used to go to school with, who graduated with us, who would use his disability as an excuse.
Yes.
We talked about him, I think last week.
Is it the kid who farted on me?
Yeah, the kid who farted on.
So there was a kid throughout high school.
Can't even remember his fucking name either.
No, I don't remember his name. All I remember is that he farted on me, and he would frequently come up to us and ask, like, "Hey, can I have this part of your breakfast or this part of your lunch?" And we're like, "No, go away."
It's like, I'm gonna eat that. Why would I give it to you?
Occasionally, he would just take items, and we'd be like, "Oh, okay, nothing we can do about it."
I think.
Because, like, what do you do in that situation?
Right? Beat him up and take it. It's
Well,
like
then-
you're beating up a handicapped kid. What the fuck are you?
Exactly. And if you engage a fight and then you lose, you just got beat up by a mentally handicapped kid.
Exactly. That's fucking.
It's a lose scenario.
Exactly.
And then I got farted on, which there's no positive way to spin that.
He there was something with a pen in Alan, but I think Alan got like a pen on him or something, and he fucking wigged out, or like launched a pen at him. No, the kid launched a pen at Alan. Alan grabbed the pen, would not give it back. The kid sat down at the breakfast table, and he would not move until Alan gave him back the pen, and he never gave him back the pen.
That's hilarious.
And so the fucking like teachers or whoever is sitting there watching the breakfast people had to come over and like convince him to go to his classes because he couldn't sit there. Whenever I left from breakfast that day, I remember he was still sitting there, and I was one of the last people to leave.
So, this reminded me that the lunch lady, would it hurt to even give a name?
Oh, just like a first name.
Yeah, Tina. The
Yeah.
lunch lady Tina, she was kind of a bitch. To our friend group in particular, for no real reason. I remember very vividly one day. It was when I was still with Sharon, so like late freshman year, early sophomore year. I was sitting down at the lunch table next to Sharon, and we were like shoulder to shoulder, and opposite us were like a couple like straight on like cuddling, like almost making out. And she came over and she's like, "You two can't be doing that." And we're like, "Yeah, guys, that's really gross." And she's like, "No, you two." I'm like, we're fucking physically in contact. We're not doing anything. It's like, you guys are sharing earbuds. I'm like, what? She
You're gonna get
hated
ear
us.
infection.
She hated us.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't know where she lives though.
Yeah, me too. You want to go TP her house? Light dog shit and then throw it on her porch?
No, it's across the street from that Frontier building, and that Frontier building gives me fucking horrible vibes.
Do you think that's where she was constituted?
Yeah, she's like a synth.
Yeah.
She's like they took the real Tina years ago, and this is the lackluster replacement.
They didn't have time to
That would
program
explain a
all.
lot of people in this town.
They didn't have time to program all of her emotions, so they only gave her anger.
That explains so many people in this town. They were just weird and irrational. It is a miracle. I've realized this, that a lot of the people I am friends with, they are not originally from this town. I am the
Mhm.
only person well, aside from like a couple of people, who grew up here. Like you were originally from.
I lived in Canton for a few years. I moved in with my grandparents when I was 3 until I was in middle school. Moved in with my mother, and then after middle school, I came here, and I did all of high school here.
Yeah.
So, like, I was born in Canton, mostly raised in Minerva, and I went back to Canton, and then went back here.
Yeah. So, but my point is, you haven't had the long-term exposure.
Yes, yeah, I haven't had the
You
full
haven't had the time. You
experience.
haven't had the time to get kidnapped and turned into a synth.
Well, when I when I came back here, it was almost like a new town because I didn't remember anything. I spent most of my time.
Honestly, whenever I spent a lot of my time whenever I was a little kid until 7th grade. I lived with my dad. My dad lives out in the woods, and we very rarely came into town. So whenever my mom moved here, and I moved in with her, it was all new to me. But I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Moving back here after middle school, I didn't remember anything. All I remember was I spent a lot, like where I live now. That's where I lived back then. I remember that house not only because of that, but because we come up like every holiday. But I also remember spending a lot of time in the library, not actually reading, just flipping through books, looking at pictures.
Listen, whenever you're a little kid, that's all that you gauge a book's contents on.
I don't judge a book by its cover,
But
but the images within.
yeah, there you go.
Just the bluff notes.
And then Alan too.
Alan, he was born in Cali.
Yeah, Alan was born in California. He moved here when he was like 8, so he also has not had the long-term exposure.
I would argue that he has.
Oh, I mean, but like not as long.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Not like a lifetime.
Yeah, exactly. And then Miranda is also not from here. Originally.
God, imagine living in a town like this all your life.
I don't have to.
I remember.
Well, I mean, not directly.
Um,
Not directly. You know, I didn't live in town.
Ben.
I lived about 10 minutes out.
I remember Ben. He lived in Alliance growing up. Like he went to high school, like all the way through high school. He lived in Alliance, and then he started working at GameStop, in Alliance for several years, and then he went to, I think it was Pennsylvania.
Wow.
He went to Pennsylvania for
He comes back in Alliance is just a shithole.
like 10 to 15 years. Yes, and then he came back to live in Alliance, the same GameStop that he started working at. And I asked him, like, what the fuck? Why would you want to come back here? He's like, well, it's just a feeling you get. Like, you're older and you're like, well, this is what I know, and this is what I want to come back to.
It's a similar mentality of why my mom moved back here, because I think it's something within humans that they want to spread their roots in a place that they feel comfortable with, you know, And so while they did live in alliance for a time, they the neighborhood that we were in was getting worse, and they didn't want to have Isaac go to like school there.
Mm-hmm.
So they moved back down here, where it's not great by any stretch.
It's
but
better.
It's better.
It's much better. I would say this is a really good place to grow up. I mean, you and I have a struggle because there's not a lot of like toy stores and like game
Comic
stores.
book shops and stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing that really appeals to us here besides food. Even then, it's slim pickings.
Yeah, especially in town.
Like the best shit that we have like a KFC, Taco Bell, McDonald's, Dairy Queen, Hardee's. But that's all fast food you can get anywhere else.
Yeah.
We have a K-Pasta, which is pretty good. Holland's, I like Holland's.
I've only been to Holland's a few times. My grandma used to work there, and
It's really good.
so we would go there from time to time.
Their chocolate chip pancakes will make you feel disgusting. There's so much fucking chocolate.
I feel like anytime you have chocolate chip pancakes, if you're not feeling gross afterwards, you have a problem.
You haven't had enough.
Anytime I go to IHOP, I get the chocolate chip pancakes, and I'm always just like, I shouldn't have gotten the chocolate chip pancakes. It's something that just doesn't sit right in your gut. You're like, this is too much.
Well, at Holland's is like at least 40% chocolate in their pancakes. Like you might as well just put a Hershey bar within some breading. I don't know if I like that thought. Deep fried Hershey bar?
Or to just send a TikTok in the Discord and said, "Thus yummy hot dogs." I think it's probably a part of the audio.
That's yummy hot dogs. Shouldn't she sleep? Doesn't she have work in the morning?
Yeah, she was really sleepy whenever I went down to talk to her, so I can't imagine how she is now.
What a dingus.
Yeah, it's okay. She'll get there.
Ugh. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about, Rusty?
What were we were talking about pancakes and whatnot. I
Yeah.
don't think Lucy is inside. I'm gonna go let her in. 'Cause
Okay.
I keep hearing barking.
Go let her in. I'll end the podcast. I wanna vibe out and play Time on Frog Island.
Alright.
Not sponsored. So thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Love you.
He said love you. I don't know if you heard that. I don't know if it picked up. I wasn't watching the gauge, the meter thing, but we hope you enjoyed our commentary on conspiracy theories, regardless of your stance on them. But we'll see you next time. Stay out of our cellar and don't touch any of our jelly.